They say that the punishment must fit the crime, and that goes for all aspects of life in general. And yeah, when it comes to R. Kelly, well, fate put him in jail for life for things that he's done. So be sure to like the video and subscribe to King Trending. Number 8. The rise and fall of R. Kelly.
Anything that I've been through, that or any struggles I've had in my past has affected my music.
It's important to note that one of the reasons this upcoming trial and verdict for R. Kelly is so important is because of what R. Kelly has meant to the music industry. He was not only just a singer, but a songwriter, producer, collaborator, and much more. He's actually one of the best-selling artists in the United States, and was the most successful R&B act during the 90s.
Hey, thanks, bro.
Not to mention being an award-winning singer and songwriter, and getting all sorts of accolades along the way. So before we look forward, let's take a look back at the life that he once had. R. Kelly was born in Chicago, Illinois in January of 1967, but his childhood was anything good and clean. He dealt with a lot of abuse, and a lot of pain, and a lot of loss. He was once robbed at 8 years old by a person who wanted his bike and was left injured in the street while they took it. Another incident with other children costed the life of R. Kelly's first girlfriend after she was pushed into a stream. Kelly states that this was his first inspiration in regards to music. As he went on through high school, he found out that he had a learning disability, one that made it so he couldn't read or write. But despite all of this, he went on to perform music anywhere he could, and he would get praised for it. After bouncing around with some groups, R. Kelly would go on and release his first solo album in 1992, and it would allow him to get his first #1 single from Bump and Grind. Ironically, after the success of that first album, R. Kelly became someone who was in demand, not just for his singing, but his songwriting and producer abilities. He even wrote and produced his proteges. Aaliyah's first album, Ain't Nothing But a Number, which topped the charts and had many hit songs. As time went on, R. Kelly did all kinds of different sounding tracks, including embracing his more vulnerable side in his second album, R. Kelly, which critics really loved. The more that R. Kelly wrote, the better that R. Kelly did. He's had multiple #1 hits and albums, and he's worked with some of the biggest names in hip-hop, R&B, rap, and other music genres.
You know, got love for the dude, you know, I mean, if he's guilty, I just hope and pray that he get help.
He was a talent on multiple levels, and the music world was grateful for that talent. But behind the scenes, not everything was picturesque, and now R. Kelly is facing the consequences of his actions. And it appears as though life in prison is waiting for him, and it's been a long road to get him to that point. Number 7. His earliest crimes.
Not accurate, not true. One of the cases seems to be a rehash of the conduct he was acquitted for.
They say that a person's past can really show how much a person means to do something in terms of intent. And sadly for R. Kelly, his long-standing fight with the law began in very odd ways. As I mentioned earlier, R. Kelly has a protege in the form of Aaliyah, who was a fan-favorite singer for the time that she was alive. She unfortunately passed away in a plane accident in 2002, and her relationship with R. Kelly was very strong, which made sense given the mentor-pupil relationship. However, in 1994, the two apparently got married. This wouldn't be an odd thing if she wasn't 15 at the time. In case you don't know, it's illegal to get married when you're under the age of 18, if you don't have parental consent. To get around this, Aaliyah apparently signed a document illegally saying that she was 18 and thus was able to get married. And when this was found out, there was a host of issues being thrown around. Although both Aaliyah and R. Kelly deny that the marriage ever happened, regardless, the word got out about this and people started to look at R. Kelly differently. And that was just the start of his issues. Number 6, the children.
You know, what is your involvement in that trial?
Pretty much I just had to identify the people on the tape.
A pattern that can be pretty definitive evidence when it comes to figuring out a life sentence, and during the 2000s, R. Kelly was in big trouble because of a video that was released that apparently showed him interacting with a minor, a very young minor if you get my drift. And though R. Kelly denied the act, there was more evidence that kept popping up that showed R. Kelly doing similar things with different children, including film and pictures being found in his own home. Eventually, he was taken to court on 14 accounts of various crimes, but because of the lack of evidence and the victims being unwilling to testify, the jury found him innocent. But it wouldn't be the last R. Kelly would hear of these charges, both during that period and during the current year. And so more on that later though. The point is, there was something seriously wrong with R. Kelly, and people were really starting to see it now. But again, it was just the tip of the iceberg. Number 5. The cult. Oh yeah, things are about to get even more weirder. And this is something that has come forward in very recent years. Apparently, R. Kelly is one who cannot be satisfied with a single person as a partner. And to that extent, many women came forward in 2017 to note that R. Kelly not only had many partners, but he aimed to control every aspect of their lives. Dominique Gardner was one of those women. And while she originally went to be with R. Kelly and her own volition, it soon became apparent that this was more of a cult than anything else. And eventually, she walked out on it. "I would probably still be there if he would have let me go to my little brother's graduation," she said. "I'd still be there, but when he told me no, I'm like, what is wrong with you? You don't let people see their families?" I guess because we might realize how much freedom and happiness we have out there with our families. And it got even worse when R. Kelly tried to control her even more. "I wouldn't even say mind games. It was just the fact that he tried to break me," she said. "I couldn't be broken. He wanted that control over me. I wouldn't give him that power. So he figured, like, if I don't give her food, she'll come around. Nope, I'd rather die than come around and give you my soul." And while she didn't say mind games, the other two women who are still with R. Kelly at the last account came on camera and were very defensive when the interviewer asked them about the conditions that R. Kelly had them in. They proclaimed their love for him and sang his praises and whatnot, or in other words, the cultists protected their leader. As you can see, this is really messed up, and it was only a matter of time before things truly caught up to him, and in 2019, they did. Number 4. Charged again.
Mr. Kelly, will you talk to us when you come out, please? Please talk to us when you come out.
On February 22nd, 2019, R. Kelly was once again charged with the mistreating of minors, and it cited back to the original charges that were originally dropped against him. These were new charges though, so double jeopardy doesn't apply. There is new video evidence that apparently shows the abuse, and so the 10 counts are going to be put to trial to see what the true answers are. R. Kelly, of course, denied all of these charges and called them lies. Based on everything that's going on, it would appear that R. Kelly isn't going to get away from this one. But now you know everything that has happened in the past and present. So why are we so sure he's going to jail for life? Well, number 3, the public is against him. So while it's true the public won't have a direct impact on his trial, there will be some of the public on it because of the jury of his peers. There's no doubt that someone on the jury will be up for putting him in life in prison. And if all the evidence is strong enough, and it does appear to be, there's little to no doubt that they'll convict. But it goes beyond that. The public truly hates R. Kelly right now, even going so far as to have a #MuteRKelly movement, which was meant to be a voice about stopping the reign of abuse that R. Kelly has done. What's more, this isn't just a random collection of people doing this either. It's actually an offshoot of the Time's Up movement, which has been in the news a lot recently. Fighting for equality and the rights of women, R. Kelly publicly slammed them by saying that he liked the idea of the group in context, but noted that they were ignoring what he gave to the culture, which is totally not the point, R. Kelly. It doesn't matter what contributions you made, it matters what you did to certain people within that culture. The more R. Kelly talks about his situation, the more the public is being turned against him. On a recent interview with Gayle King, which has to be seen to be believed, he said that he was getting publicly humiliated. The point is, the public is going to want blood for all that R. Kelly has done, and the judge will know that the sentence he or she will give will carry a lot of weight. Because of that, they'll likely go with the max sentence. Number 2, R. Kelly is unsympathetic. Another way of looking at the situation in regards to that upcoming trial and everything that goes with it is that R. Kelly continues to come off as a villain, which he technically is. He did a lot of bad things, and he's only making it worse for himself when he tries to defend himself. He even wrote a 17-minute song called I Admit It. And yet, throughout that song, he didn't admit anything. And that cult that he runs, yeah, it's still going on, and the two are still living there, still worshiping him and praising him when on camera and all that. Every time a new crime or charge gets put against him, he calls them lies. He wasn't very composed in that Gayle King interview, and his supporters, yeah, they aren't either. When he's in court, it's very likely he'll be very fidgety and scoffed at a lot, and will be unable to control his emotions, and that'll show the jury that he doesn't care what's going on, and that he thinks what he did was right, and that the judge should see that too. And if the judge thinks that he doesn't care about the crimes he's committed, well, he'll just throw the book at him. Number 1, his past will come back to haunt him. In the confines of the law, past crimes can be used to show intent or a pattern, and that'll definitely be the case here, because though he was cleared of those charges back in the early 2000s, they can be used against him here. Plus, with that fake marriage to Aaliyah, the cult that he's running, and more, this will definitely add to the stack of evidence that shows that not only is R. Kelly troubled, but he's also very dangerous. And in fact, he cannot be trusted to uphold the law. And if enough evidence is presented and the right witnesses testify, it'll slowly slowly build up everything until there's no recourse left but a guilty verdict. And because of the weight of the crimes that are being thrown against him and the public outcry for justice, there will be nowhere else to go but a life sentence verdict. And so there you have it, the reasons why R. Kelly will likely serve life in prison. So do you agree with this assessment? Do you think R. Kelly will get out of this sentence or just serve a certain amount of time? Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Be sure to subscribe and I'll see you next time on King Trending.
Hey, just a reminder that we're changing up the giveaways. From now on, we're offering the Galaxy Note 9, the one that comes with the exclusive Fortnite skin, the new iPhone X Max, which we'll pre-order for you, and the new Apple Watch Series 4, which we'll also pre-order for you. The winner gets to decide between these three. Make sure to subscribe, turn on notifications, drop a like, and comment the hidden message in the video for a chance to win. You got nothing to lose. Go for it.